Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Brett Johns. Now, Brett, it's great to have you back on, mate. Great to catch up with you. And kind of lucky, because not all matches got rebooked, but you got Montel Jackson. So your kind of camp didn't change or anything. So with that in mind, how did your preparation go then? Because you obviously prepped for him, you had a break, so to speak, and then it got rematched again. What have you done? Have you done anything different to add to the camp?
Yeah, to be honest, it's a bit of a weird one. Like I remember going into quarantine in the middle of March, where we were stuck indoors for a while. But like I didn't really know the fight was off until 13 days before the actual date of the fight. So I was in quarantine for about maybe 3 weeks, not actually knowing if I was fighting or not. And then 13 days before the actual fight itself, they turned around and said, "Okay, it won't be happening." So to be honest, I was like, right, okay, I got two options here. I can either get fat, or I can keep in shape and keep lean and start losing weight. And to be honest, it's the first proper camp I've had where I've gone from one fight camp and not gone over like I think the actual number is like 163 pounds. I haven't gone over 163 pounds, kept the weight down, and we've gone into this camp. But I remember the first couple of weeks of quarantine, man, I was running. So I had three workouts. I bought a bag bracket to put at the back of my house. I also got a static bike and also run, and I mix up between the three of them. It was like some sort of like MMA version of a triathlon. I just basically got through them three all the time. I was cycling I think I was cycling like 20, 25 miles on the static bike, and then I do my 5 5s in the bag, and then I'd go for a 10-mile run. So no wonder I'm feeling fit at the minute because of I probably pushed it in quarantine.
Nice, mate. I was not doing any of that. No, I didn't. I
Yeah.
didn't have any equipment, so I didn't. I do you know what? I do love a bike though. I do like a watt bike and stuff. Do you know, like a static bike? I do enjoy it. Or the rower. If I get a chance, I'll jump on the rower. So with that in mind, then you said we were talking before training camp. You changed things a little bit with your training team and stuff like that. What changes have you made and implemented in this?
Right. So this camp I'm actually fighting out of the original team I've been using for the last, say, the last year or so probably, which is the KGB with James Wallace. He's my striking coach. Absolutely fantastic coach. You know, really really good. World champion himself back in the day. You know, and absolutely amazing guy. Really, won't do enough to help you. So James is still a part of my camp. And I've moved gyms to show MMA, and it's been fantastic. Obviously, you have the UFC level athletes here like Marshman and Jack Shaw, but you've also got the up and coming stars and the guys who have been veterans in Cage Warriors. You know, you got people like up and comers like Oban Elliott, Scott
Hmm.
Pedersen, and you got guys who have been there and done it, such as Chris Edwards and Josh Reed. There's been loads of people who have been involved in the camp as well. Levi Batchelor, who's another guy who's going to be a massive star in years to come. But I am really, like I think COVID. I think a lot of fighters. I'm not saying a fighters haven't suffered. I think it's just been luck of the draw where you're from and what you're doing. But to be honest, I feel like I've been very, very, very lucky with the COVID pandemic, and I generally think that yeah, like I said, I've been one of the lucky ones, really.
Yeah, I was going to say because I did notice prior to this, you and Jack were doing stuff in the past as well. You'd always do the cross training. It was nothing new, the cross train. Anyway, in Wales, it seems there was a lot of kind of support for each other. Like Lou Long as well would be joining in with folks, and just a collection of guys would always help out. With the facility there at Shore, mate, it looks superb. It looks great. Did that play a factor in helping you as well? Because everything's kind of basically under one roof.
Yeah, a little bit, like obviously I drive a lot more now than what I used to, I think I used to travel 20 minutes to the previous gym I was using, and but now it's changed from 20 minutes to an hour 10 minutes, hour 20 minutes, which is, people go crazy about that, but I think if we were in America and there was
Yeah.
a really high level gym 2 hours away, I think we'd make the drive. I remember Forrest Griffin saying one time that he traveled 4 hours before for good sparring. So to be completely honest, yeah, I found the drive up there just absolutely not a problem. You know, and to be honest, we've been driving back and forth up there. I probably spent 7 weeks before quarantine, or maybe no, a bit less now, maybe 5 weeks before quarantine up there, driving. I think it was like 4 times a week, and then obviously to recently where they allow professional athletes to train. So I think it's been about 5 or 4 weeks, and I've drove up more or less every single day, you know, and the drive is, and it's hard to explain, but the drive doesn't make a difference when you know the session you're going to be having. Do you
Yeah, yeah,
understand what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, it
So
does. Yeah.
like, I go up there and I have the session, and I'm driving back home, and you think, oh God, I got this long drive home. But to be honest, it doesn't touch me. It doesn't. I'm so happy when I leave there, whether I have my butt kicked by Jack Shaw or whether or not, you know, I'm on my own way. I still leave the place happy, and the morale there is really high. And
Mm.
I don't know, mentally this feels different, this fight, you know, and I'm really apprehensive, and I can't wait to get in there.
I was going to say, how was the relationship then with Shaky? Because his knowledge and experience, what kind of stuff have you got from it? Due to the fact that you're spending a bit more time there, and obviously he's going to be putting his impressions onto you in that sense.
To be honest, like I've known Shaky for years, you know
Mm.
what I mean? When I first ever had, my first ever fight, it was on a show called Samurai Fight Night in Michael Sabel Sports Centre in Aberdare. It's not actually too far away from Merthyr, believe it or not, John.
There you go.
Um,
Yeah. Linked.
yeah, you know, and we both know that place well. But like I said, you know, it was that show was October 2012. That was like the first official time I met Shaky properly. And yeah, you know, we got similar interests. Me and Jack are like the same people in different bodies. You know what I mean? He loves his fashion. I love my fashion. We got the same sort of fashion sense. He loves his Adidas trainers. I love my Adidas trainers. He loves Liam Gallagher. I like Liam Gallagher. We're both he's a UFC bantamweight. I'm a UFC bantamweight. They're gonna be calling us they're gonna be calling us the Cray twins before long.
Well, what
But
I was just saying, mate, your Adidas trainers, like as you mentioned, there, mate, they were nice. The ones you had, the little personalised ones, weren't they? They were good too.
yeah. So it was a friend of mine from in Scotland. Chris, he did a set for me. His actual Instagram handle is like Dundee Soul. So he's up in Scotland, and I've just been speaking to Chris through Instagram, and
Mm.
he went there to personalise a pair for me, and he based them off the Adidas London trainer, and ironically, they're the trainers that got my feet. But he did the pair of trainers, and in all fairness, they're lovely. But it's like they're not a pair of trainers that I can wear often. I keep
Yeah.
them in the box. You know, they might be something I might put on my mantelpiece in years to come. Maybe get rid of the family photo and put the Adidas trainers up there.
That's a good idea. What you should get is the missus on the on the other shoe, so then at least then she'll be happy. She can negotiate that, can't you?
Yeah, yeah. Look, she'd fill me in before then, John.
I can imagine she would. You've got a new sponsor as well, Hemp Valley. How's I saw that popping up as well, mate. It's good to see new stuff coming in, new brands, and help and support coming along.
Oh yeah, like I said, the sponsorships at the minute have been absolutely fantastic. And for anybody that doesn't know, for the fighters, you know, we especially like in the UFC, we get paid our money, but like, you know, I'm a true believer. I'm just like anybody else. I'm not screaming and shouting about the fact we should get paid more, but I do feel like that is the case with us fighters, you know, especially after
Hmm.
looking at like boxing wages and
Yeah.
stuff. I think we should be, you know, but you know, I'm not going crazy about it. Like I'm happy with everything at the minute, and but the sponsorship side of it have been a massive help. So at the minute I've got Watches of Wales, Bet Clever, Weekend Offender, Sam Jones and the crew there, Diogal Events, JMW, Tatami, Hemp Valley. You know, they're the main guys I've been using for this camp, and they've all been absolutely fantastic. And another guy I got to mention is a guy called Luke Jones, who's a hand cyclist himself. He's an athlete, and he's been supporting me for a very long time. And like Luke's the type of guy who just wants to see you succeed. So
Yeah.
Luke's been a massive factor there as well. And I've been very lucky. These sponsors, and not only that as well, I'm really professional when it comes to my sponsorships. You know, I'm always promoting my sponsors simply because of if they are investing a lot of time and effort and product and money into me, then I should be I should be giving something back as well. Like, I think a lot of MMA fighters nowadays are the case, will you sponsor me? They think it's just going to be 500 quid in their pocket, and then that's it. Like, you know,
Yeah.
a little sticker or logo on the shorts. You gotta make an effort with the company. Like, for example, tomorrow I'll be meeting up with one of my other sponsors, R&F, who are a property group who are really, really, you know, successful, really good where I'm from in Llanelli, you know, and they're amazing people, and they've also, you know, helped out for the camp. So, you know, for example, like everything else around the camp now is in sponsorships. That's all done and dusted. I'm just looking forward to getting out there, promoting as much as I can out there where I can, obviously, because
Yeah.
anything with the UFC obligated sort of media stuff, then I can't do that, you know. But yeah, we'll see now. We'll see.
I was going to say next bit was with Montel Jackson. I think it's a nice matchup. He's on a bit of a win streak. You did a solid performance against Gravely. Absolutely solid performance there, because there was a question mark about you got the grappling aspect with the judo background, etc. He's obviously got the wrestling. You were fantastic in that performance. Do you feel that getting that win back, that momentum back for yourself, Montel Jackson is the kind of ideal kind of opponent for you coming back into this now?
Yeah, like I think when I first got the UFC, I'd be like, not so much choosing, so I never really chose any opponent, but I felt like the fights that were given to me were good fights, you know. And then obviously after Soto, I felt like the world was my oyster. I really liked the fact that I could have fought anybody, and they did. They put me in there with Aljamain Sterling and Pedro Munoz after that, and I don't regret them fights at all. But, you know, Montel, I think, you know, skill set wise, I think I'm a better fighter. Not only do I think I'm a better fighter, I think I'm a top 5 fighter in the UFC bantamweight division. Like, I look at that division at the minute and think it's stacked, yeah. But I truly believe that I belong up in the top echelon of that division. Having said that, Montel is very tricky. Like, you know, we haven't cut any corners with this guy. We have not at all. We know how dangerous he can be. We know how unorthodox he is in his grappling, in his striking, you know, and he hasn't been taken lightly. And like, people ask me what's the next step after this, man. I'm not looking past him at all.
No,
I'm not.
no fight should ever do that, you know.
No. At the end of the day, it is what it is, and like I said, it's one of them things where, like, I'm enjoying everything. I'm enjoying everything I'm doing, and like the training. And this is the first ever fight that I've actually gone into. I'm on cloud 9, John. I'm on cloud 9. I'm like, and mentally, I'm buzzing. And like, for the first time in my life, I'm looking forward to getting in there and showing people this new person. I'm gonna say new and improved, because I'm not new and improved. You know, people say, oh, you train the hardest you've ever trained before. I always train the hardest I've ever done before.
You should always be that way, yeah.
Yeah, it's never been a case of, oh, this camp I've trained harder. This camp has been just like any other camp.
Yeah.
The way that I train and the way the boys train up in Show MMA and the KGB, you won't put your dog through it. It's that difficult. But the difference is this time is that I'm happy and I'm buzzing and beaming for this fight, you know.
Yeah, and I can actually put you in a good state of mind to relax a bit more in when you're in there performing, rather than be a bit uptight and a bit restricted, so you're not as fluid and is not as kind of using the muscle memory. You're thinking too much. Sometimes fighters can overthink in fights where the muscle memory doesn't take over.
It's fun you say that, because I felt like that happened with Gravely. Like, people were saying like, oh, awesome performance. I did feel flat. You know, I felt a bit like it wasn't good enough. You know, I feel like that there was a lot of issues in the fight. But let me just tell people, like, that doesn't mean that I'm disappointed with my performance, but I'm not disappointed with the fight. At the end of the day, when I landed in Miami, I looked at my brother and I said one thing to him. I said, "We got one job out here, and that's to win. It doesn't matter whether it looks good, whether it looks bad, whether it looks pretty, whether it looks ugly. It doesn't matter. We got to get the win." And I think that's what we did, you know. And we were very lucky that we got it done in a well, people thought it was a mad fight, so we had fight the night for it as well, which was obviously a big bonus for me, because of, you know, that wasn't the game plan going in there. I didn't expect it to be as exciting as what it actually was. But this time is a little bit different. I feel like the pressure of a 2-fight losing streak, now beating Gravely, and obviously having to fight Montel, who's obviously a big up and comer, and like I said, a tricky customer. This is all to play for. I think the bookies will probably have me as the underdog, which is absolutely fine. That doesn't faze me one bit. In fact, I prefer that, because people are going to have a shock come July 18th.
Or some people make money off it, so win-win.
Fingers crossed. And if you don't make money off it, don't complain to me. You'd be shocked how many people have come to me and said like, "Oh, I bet on you," and I go, "Yeah," and I didn't win. I was like, "Well, do you want me to put my hand in my pocket and get you money out?" Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Like, I don't gamble. I don't gamble on fights. Sometimes occasionally I might put a bet on the football, but I don't go up to Ollie McBurney and go, "Hey, Ollie didn't score today, mate. I put a bet on you." Do you know what I mean? People drive me nuts sometimes when it comes to the betting. Like, I remember Nate Diaz paying some fan off because he said that
couldn't pay his rent or something, wasn't it?
Yeah, he pays rent. Well, don't gamble then, you idiot. You know what I mean? Like, you're not going to mind the gamble. Don't gamble.
No, I'm with you on that one. Yeah, you bet within your limitations. But quick question then about the Bantamweight division. We were saying about Stacked. What are your thoughts about Frankie Edgar and Jose Aldo jumping down there? Because as a competitor, you must have looked at that and went, "Wow, that's exciting as well." Having those two added to it.
Yeah, especially when you can look at like someone like Pedro Munoz and he's fighting Frankie.
Yeah.
Someone who I thought going in there was one of the best in the world. And like, I know my teammate Jack Shaw is a big fan of Frankie Edgar, to be honest. So I know that Jack will probably be watching that fight very closely. Man, I like it. I like the hype has come down, and to be honest, the hype at the minute with the Bantamweight division has nothing to do with them guys coming down. It's the fights that have already been and gone, and but them coming down is only going to make things interesting. I'll be completely honest. Looking at the shape of the both of them coming down to bantamweight is incredible. Like, I think Frankie Edgar looks amazing right now. But it depends on how he performs. That's the big thing. This is a guy who used to fight a lightweight. Not an ab in sight, but now all of a sudden, like, the guy's got a 6-pack on top of a 6-pack.
It does, yeah. I know. It's going to look phenomenal.
I'm gonna say I'm rooting for Pedro there. I'm rooting for Pedro simply because I met Pedro, I fought Pedro, and I find him he's a great guy. Pedro is, and I think it's a very, very tough test for him. I think Pedro's striking over the last few years has gone absolutely incredible, but you got Frankie Edgar's footwork and head movement, which has been there for a very long time. I think if I honestly believe that if Pedro catches him, that he could put his lights out, but he's got to catch him first. I know that firsthand, John. The guy hits like a mule.
I was going to say, yeah, you know what it feels like, and you got the resurgence of Cody Garbrandt as well. He's back in that division, with a bang. So, it's exciting times for the bantamweight, man. Like, you've got your fight coming up. It's just great. Jack's got Jack Shaw's got a match remade because his guy so that's good news that they got someone to step in as well. So, it's good news for everyone, really. And I'm looking forward to it, mate.
I was telling Jack yesterday that he was always going to get a replacement. This is Fight Island. People are going to want to chop their left arm off to be on that island. He was getting a fight, and man, I'm really looking forward. Like the buzz with me and Jack at the minute. We're so happy right now, and the training has been. We've got the confidence there right now because we know the training we put in the last few weeks, and exciting, man, exciting times.
It's exciting, mate. And look, I'll let you get going, but before I let you go, buddy, give people your social media and let them know where to find you. Yeah,
so I'm at 36 Johns on Twitter, and I am Brett Johns MMA on Instagram. But if you want to check out my photography page run by one of my guys there, that's B Johns MMA. Have a little look there and see what you think.
Nice, folks. Jump online, give them a follow. You mentioned your sponsors before, and obviously Shaw MMA. Mate, have a great time. Have a great time at Yas Island. Not just that's going to be an experience in itself because the way everything's going. I've seen the protocol for it, so that's going to be part of the experience, man. Just enjoy yourself, and obviously make sure you bring sunscreen.
Yes, factor 50 all the way.